River of Life, also regarding item 14. And you've already helpfully provided us with yours. Welcome. If you'd like to introduce Mark and...
Okay, kia ora hui hui tātou, ko Kathleen Gallagher ahau, ko Reverend Mark Gibson, and ko Stephanie Rix-Eka.
Morena.
Morena. I am a local writer and filmmaker. I produced and directed the film Water Whisperers Tangaroa, which looks at water places, lakes, rivers and ocean around New Zealand, where people have successfully restored and redeemed their waterways, increased their fish stocks and improved biodiversity in amazing and unexpected ways. I am making this deputation on behalf of the River of Life Network and have prepared this material with Reverend Mark Gibson, the coordinator of the River of Life Network. The River of Life Network has been going for 4 years. It is a faith-based network that tries to play a constructive role around conservation and environmental issues in Canterbury. It was one of the founding groups of the Avon Otokaro network and has also led a number of walks along both the Heathcote and the Avon rivers. The Government and the Department of Conservation are currently looking at the entire coastline of New Zealand and working out appropriate areas for marine reserves, marine mammal sanctuaries, Taiapuri and Rahui areas. The River of Life Network has been working collaboratively with DOC staff, Ngāi Tahu, ECAN, NIWA and the Associate Minister of the Environment, Nikki Wagner, to see if the whole of the Canterbury Rohe from Kaikoura to Timaru can be prioritised by DOC and work in the same way as the Otago Marine Protected Area 2-year process, which is currently taking place. So they've already begun on working out their marine protected area. We would invite the Christchurch City Council to have some involvement with this collaboration also, because a good chunk of the Canterbury coastline is in the Christchurch City Council area. Tourists, including cruise ship visitors, school children, travellers, tertiary students, local iwi, fishermen, divers, and locals would all benefit from the increase in numbers and species of fish once the necklace of marine reserves, marine mammal sanctuaries, Taiapuri and Rahui areas was in place along the Canterbury coastline. This region, because it is an important meeting place of sub-Antarctic and subtropical zones and has 2 very large expanses of water near the coast, the Ihutai Estuary and the Te Waihora Lake Ellesmere, it has the same number of bird species as the whole of the Amazon. You take no risks. You don't muck around with treasures like this. You protect them and you look after them. The potential risk of an accident while drilling is higher in this region because of the depth and also because of the seismic fragility. The introduction of deep-sea petroleum drilling into the deep, fragile, seismically sensitive environment of the Canterbury coastline is potentially catastrophic for aquatic and terrestrial life and would spell doom to the marine protected areas that are in the process of being envisaged and developed. It is not appropriate that deep-sea drilling blocks from this area be allocated to oil companies. Deep-sea oil drilling is extremist extraction and unnecessary. The South Island can easily produce enough electrical energy to run our car fleets, our businesses, our farms and our homes. Christchurch could run solely on electrical energy. Why drill in the deep sea for oil that we don't need and run the risk of destroying our most precious resource, the aquatic and terrestrial life of the Canterbury coast? We commend the Council for their stand on the application for the oil block, and we wish to support that stand. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa.
Kia ora, thank you very much. Are there any questions? Yanni?
Thank you. Just had two questions. One is, have you written to the minister responsible regarding your concerns? And I know that the formal submission process excludes the public, but have you had any response back from the ministers or the MPs who are involved in promoting this?
We haven't written directly to the minister. We could do that.
Okay. And I think that would be something perhaps council could also do. And then the second question was, do you think our submission goes far enough? I know you in the previous submission talked about the fact that there's really no need for this to happen. We're kind of expressing a lot of concern and what-ifs and asking for greater public consultation, but do you think we should actually be more opposed to this whole notion of what's happening rather than just saying, well, you can do it if you meet X, Y, Z? Or we're kind of, we're not saying we're opposed to it, so should we be saying we're opposed to it? Are we? Really?
Yes.
I hope you are.
We're obviously going to have an interesting discussion about the detail of the submission, which we might turn to immediately after this this item, this deputation's concluded, so that we can actually have that debate while you're still in the room. Are there any other? Glenn?
Thank you. Part of our submission includes the proposal for an environmental contingency bond. So I know that sounds quite reactive. To be put in place before any drilling takes place, it's an upfront sum equal to the worst case risk scenario and held as a bond by the relevant government authority until the drilling has been completed. Have you got a view on that, or is this something you're just hearing afresh?
I've just heard about this environmental bond. Have you guys heard about it?
Yeah, I did. Did you want me to open mine?
Because they've probably talked about it.
I was going to say, I think...
Come back up. I mean, let's be generous here. There's another 3 minutes of this submission to go.
Yeah.
So
I wondered about that. I think it was a good idea. As you say, it is very reactive, but if the government were to have in place a policy like that, it would make it very economically unviable and very unattractive for oil companies. So it might have the dual effect of actually deterring oil exploration in the first place.
I think it is quite a strong point of leverage.
I think it's a very reasonable request,
Okay.
and certainly one that they might take into more consideration than stopping oil drilling altogether. I think.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
are there any other questions? David?
What's the closest distance to shore of the Great South and Canterbury Basins block?
I don't know.
Are we
Do you know?
inside the 12-mile economic zone or outside it?
The oil block that they're proposing?
The oil block, yeah.
I don't know. Do you know?
I've just got maps up here now, but it doesn't actually tell me
We
how far
don't know,
from-
but what we do know is that the marine protected areas that will be considered, some of them are potentially considerably large areas, and they'll go way beyond 12 miles or 12 kilometres or whatever. So, I mean, it's our hope to have a connection between land and ocean in marine protected areas. So there's a flow from ocean to land. But when we're looking at protecting significant and the most ecologically significant areas of our coastline, I'm sure there'd be significant areas that overlap in terms of areas oil companies want access to and so on.
Sorry. Are there any other? Yeah, Pauline.
Thank you for your submission. If I could just make a quick comment in the first paragraph, Well, you say you're a faith-based network that tries to play a constructive role around conservation and environmental issues. I think you are playing a constructive role. And I'd like to say thank you and ask you to alter that line.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right, so thank you very much. Thank you. I did indicate that we would move on to item 14.